Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
What is all the fuss about Malik Willis, backup quarterback out of Green Bay, formerly quarterback of Liberty, got drafted by the Tennessee Titans, and has spent the last 2 years rehabbing his career in Green Bay? Some people think that he would be a colossal waste of money if you were to go out and get him in free agency, given that he's only really played 4 games over the last 2 years, which that's not unreasonable. Other people seem to think that he is the next success story to come out of one of these places that have been touted as quarterback rehabilitation university, right? Sam Darnold is somebody who went to Minnesota and got back on track with his career. Other quarterbacks have been able to get back on track with their career and more in line with what their draft hype was. Is Malik Willis the next one? That is the question that we're going to give more information to. We can't answer it, right? But we can give more information to this. For those of you who don't know much about Malik Willis, this might serve as an introduction to why it is that people are talking so crazy about Malik Willis, or not even crazy, why people are interested in the prospect of him becoming a franchise quarterback. Because as ridiculous as it is, and I think the premise is ridiculous that he's only played 4 games and he might get $40 million, I can't sit here and say that when I watch the film, I don't understand why that might happen. He is ultimately one of the riskiest moves you can make in free agency. A 28-year-old quarterback with all the tools who might answer your problem at quarterback for the next 4 to 5 years, or a colossal waste of money that you dropped after seeing him play 4 good games against teams that really aren't that great defensively. That's the big thing with Malik Willis. So we'll get into the tape and talk about what it is that people like about Malik Willis and why it is that there is a lot of support for the idea of going after him. But before I do that, I got to thank my sponsor, Sleeper. Talk to you guys real quick about Sleeper, the app for daily fantasy, regular fantasy. And now, if you look at the pick section on the Sleeper app and go to the team section, you have predictions that you can now use on the Sleeper app. You can choose winners of games. So let's say you're a Cavs fan, the Cavs play the Wizards or something like that, and you think the Cavs are going to beat the Wizards, you can pick the Cavs to beat the Wizards in that kind of scenario. For me personally, I went with the Cavs getting the championship this year. And of course, I had to throw in the same for the Cleveland Browns winning the next Super Bowl. So if you want to join in the fun on that, make sure you join the Sleeper app. If you also want to use the Sleeper app for all the other things I mentioned, make sure you use the promo code Worst Take. Get a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. Make sure you join the Sleeper app. So here's the thing about Malik Willis. If he put together 12 to 15 games like he did the 2 that we have on tape from last year, he would be getting $50 million in free agency, and it wouldn't even be a question. The tape is good. The problem is we have 2 games of tape, right? And when there's only 2 games of tape, there are a lot of questions that don't get answered. How does he respond when a team's able to light him up pressure-wise? Well, we never got to see that last year. How does he respond when teams take away certain answers from him that he likes to go to? Like, for example, he likes to throw a deep out, right? He likes to get to his back foot, throw the deep out. But what happens when the team decides to play some coverages that takes that away? He only played 2 games. We don't know the answer to that question. The issue with Malik Willis is not that what we have on tape is not good. It is really good, and you'll see that it is really good. Like, it's excitingly good. And I can see how somebody can watch just those 2 games and go, wow. The issue is because it's only 2 games, you don't have enough scenarios on tape that you know where he's currently at in his game with. So there's just too many questions for you to feel 100% comfortable about recommending him getting franchise quarterback money or even like franchise flyer money, right? We're talking about $20 million over 2 years, possibly $25 million over 2 years. And if you're a team like Cleveland that already has Deshaun Watson on the book for $42 million, that's a lot. Like $60 million for a quarterback room is a lot, right? Overall, the contract. So you really got to ask yourself, like, hey, is this going to be worth it? Is there enough there for me to be 100% confident? And the volume of the tape is just not there for you to be 100% confident, which puts you in this awkward spot. Again, if he put 15 games together that look like these two, he would undoubtedly be getting $50 million a year right now. Hell, the Green Bay Packers might be interested in keeping him and maybe moving Jordan. Like, it's really good, but the issue isn't that the tape's good. It's how much can you project from 2 games of tape. That's going to determine his value. That's going to determine his market. But let's look at the film and talk about what's so good about what he's done on tape. One, it's the accuracy and the timing of everything that he's doing, right? Watch here. Fake, back foot, boom, and then an accurate dot. He has good arm strength. Really, really good arm strength. Clean feet, too. Look at the feet. Look at how he doesn't drift or shift in the pocket. Very clean, easy to protect for. And then a laser right here to 88. Boom. In stride, on time, just like it's drawn up. We'll go on to another play here, right? Again, a quick process of the play. Back foot, it's ready to go out. The feet are clean. The mechanics, the foundation of the game looks good, right? A play action fake here, top of his drop, gets to his step, throws, boom, ball out, good ball, good accurate layer over this level. So you see that linebacker over at the 50-yard line. He has to layer that over the linebacker, back into the wide receiver, all while throwing with some anticipation. It's really impressive stuff. He has to make all of those decisions while making this drop, right? Again, on time though, right? 1, 2, boom. Drop, pop, and go. And this is not something to be dismissed, right? This ability that he has demonstrated in these 2 games, because how many times have you watched me break down Browns quarterbacks and I'm like, ball has to be out now. Ball has to be out now. Look at the steps. Bad drop. You know what I mean? We've seen quarterbacks routinely fuck up this kind of stuff, so we know it's not easy. But it's great execution here, right? Again, versus Chicago. Top drop, decision made. It's the right decision. You got 87 open here. He saw what he needed to, which is this corner. Take the out, knowing that the safety is hugging the opposite seam. He knows that this is going to be a good, clean, one-on-one opportunity off a switch. He throws a really nice, accurate football. Boom. And look at the zip on that football, by the way. Through a muddy pocket, clean, drop, boom. Takes a little contact, but the zip on that football is there. The accuracy in the football is there. Really impressive stuff. I mean, that's a laser right there. 2nd and 7 in overtime versus the Bears. Another play action. Hitch. Ball out. Boom. Nice. Very impressive. Again. Let's look at the feet here, right? Hand off. 1. Clean. Gets to his step. Not too deep. Not blowing his depth, so his tackles have a lot of room to work with. Hitches up. Finds the space in the passing lane. And then anticipates. Look at that. Look at that anticipation here for Jarran Reed that he has. So he hitches up, gets into the space. He knows Jarran's about to break out. And then he just throws it to the spot where Jarran should be. And boom, it's really accurate, on time, anticipation. Like, again, this, if he did this for 15 games, I wouldn't be sitting here making this a debate. I would be like, the Browns need to go fucking sign this guy, right? The issue is that he only did this for 2 games. And he only did it for 2 games because the Green Bay Packers have a starting quarterback. So it's not even insightful that he only played 2 games. So it's like, what do you do with that information? All right. This is now against Baltimore, and I think his game against Baltimore is even more impressive. This is his second start of the season. And look at this. Gets to a step. Look at that. Look at the drop here. Look how clean the drop is. 1, 2, boom. Gets there, reads it out, anticipates the window being open, and then throws this ball about as nice as you can throw it. Great job by Dobbs there to come down with it. This again on a 2nd and 20. And look what he does here out of an empty set. They bring the pressure. Again, look at where he's at. Look where he's landmarking at in his drop. You see how he's not too deep. He's exactly where he needs to be. Even hitches up a little bit, make his life easy. He sees 24's numbers. He knows that he has a post. He's going to take the post. And look how he throws this with anticipation. Accurate. It's a touchdown. I've done this so many times over the years, whether it be Deshaun Watson, whether it be, Shador or Dylan Gabriel or insert whatever quarterback, Baker Mayfield, right? And every time I talk about throwing with anticipation, there's always people who get mad at the idea of throwing with anticipation as if it doesn't exist. But it clearly does exist, and it's something that the better quarterbacks can do consistently. This is something to not be, look again, only 2 games. So I don't know what to really do with this and how much to value it monetarily. If all I can say is that if he played 15 games like this, he would be a $50 million quarterback. Again, look at that throw here. Layered, boom. That's a strike. And again, the arm strength, the natural arm talent ability here from Malik Willis. It was something that stood out while he was at Liberty. It's right here. Boom. He's not even throwing that off a clean angle. Look at his feet. He didn't even get to kick his feet around, right? Like, he's just throwing that from half a base. But he's able to throw accurate with his arm. It's really impressive right there. It's really impressive. Like, everything doesn't need to be perfect mechanically for him to get a lot out the football. Another play action here. It's another example of it. Just look at, he just anticipates this, right? Look how he's getting ready to throw this before Watson even comes out of his break. Like, watch the timing on this, right? Watch Watson. He's cutting. He's about to break. He's looking for the ball. By the time he's doing that, the ball's already halfway out, which means we're seeing anticipation here, right? Because he's seeing what he sees. He likes the off coverage. He's like, okay, he's going to break. We got it. Let's throw it. Boom. Could have been a better throw with more giddy up on it. I think he could have probably got some yak out of it. But still, off the opposite hash, that's what, 10, 20, 30 yards downfield, opposite hash. So you're talking about another 25, 30 yards on top of that has to travel on the x-axis. It's a 3rd and 2. Again, very accurate ball. Boom, right there, on time. Whether he can get his whole leg around or not, too. Again, look at the base here. I'm going to zoom in on his base. He doesn't have to get a whole kick around or have to get a gather step before he throws, right? We talked about this with Shador. It's like one of the things that concerns me about Shador's arm talent is that he seems to, for his deeper throws, he needs a gather step and a follow through with his back leg in order to get anything out of the football. And that means that he just doesn't have a lot of natural arm talent, whereas like you look at guys with more natural arm talent, they're able to get a lot out the football without really having to be mechanically perfect here. Like you see there's no gather step for him to get downhill towards where the ball's going. He's just able to kind of pivot his hips and get that ball out. Which is something to not be ignored, right? And it's a pretty accurate ball. Does die a little bit at the end on him, but it gets exactly where it needs to. Beats Nate Wiggins here. Here's more examples of him like either throwing off schedule or having to throw with a less than traditional platform, so you can see what like the arm talent is for him. And again, arm talent isn't the measurement of how far you can throw, it's how many angles can you access. How fast does the ball naturally come out of your hands? And like how uniquely are you able to generate zip off the ball? A lot of guys can put everything on it. You ever hear Matt Hasselbeck talk? He's talking about like double butt cheek throws where you put all of everything you got into it. And yeah, you can rip a ball pretty fast that way. But how many guys can put that same zip on it without having to need that much out of their body? Because that means that because when you put that much into it, you slow down your release. How many guys can access those RPMs off a quick release? He can access some quick release throws here, right? So right here, we're seeing him kind of an awkward little lane here he has to find because 94 gets right into his lap. He has to release this one quickly, doesn't have space to step really that much into it, and has to kind of just pivot around and then launch this one kind of sideways, right? Kind of throws it like a Frisbee, but is able to get exactly where it needs to with the zip it needs. Another one here where he has to kind of just maneuver around the pocket, kind of gets moved off his platform because he feels his running back completely get demolished here by Kyle Hamilton. But he doesn't completely spook here, which I think is a really good sign here, right? He doesn't spook, run all the way out, and just like throw this one out of bounds. He stops, replants, resets, and then reloads. Boom, fires one over the middle. Really nice. This one here, he rolls out, and then you get to see some of that playmaking ability there too, where he just finds a guy downfield. Really nice. Little play action here. And then this one, he has to kind of play make here, right? Gets out, throws downfield, finds a guy, boom. Funnily enough, I think Deshaun Watson in the preseason against the Chiefs hit a play eerily similar to that one. I remember it got everybody excited because we still had hope for Deshaun Watson. It was one of the few times he looked like Deshaun. That's why I remember that play. But it was like very similar to this, where he popped out here, threw it one-legged. Was it against the Chiefs or was this against Baltimore in the regular season? He had one play like that. But nonetheless, it's just a fun little fact. All right, 2nd and 5 here again. He has to kind of throw this one drifting off. He's able to kind of put it where it needs to. Another one. Like, he can throw from a lot of different angles. His arm talent is pretty strong. Let's look at his athletic ability, which is also something that was highly touted of him coming out of Liberty. So we got 5 run plays here, a little play action scramble. Breaks out here, nice little cut, upfield slide. He can move, right? This fits the Todd Monken mode of somebody who could be an athlete, maybe even do some run stuff, dedicated run stuff. You see him just slip out here and then completely outrun this linebacker to get this first down, which is pretty impressive. Same thing here, roll out. Looks around, scrambles around here, runs up the gap, and then, finds some extra lane space there. The one where he just goes up the middle, and he's a big boy too. He's not the tallest guy in the world. He's 6'1", but he is a pretty sturdy build here. So you can see him just go up, eat a tackle from a defensive tackle there, roll out of that, stumble, find his feet again, and then, break another tackle, get that ball almost to the 5. So he has good size on him, and then he has good speed to kind of beat, if he catches you off guard, he can beat linebackers. Not safeties or DBs, but he could beat linebackers to the corner, right? So you see him be able to beat, look at Roquan just chugging behind. He ain't even got a fucking chance. But he does beat, Trenton Simpson, who's a faster linebacker, right? Beats him there. Not Zay Wiggins, but Nate Wiggins has 0 explosion. Nate Wiggins is the least explosive guy to ever run a 4.3 I've ever seen. Look at this. He has 0 quick area speed. It's fascinating that he's a decent corner in the league. But yeah, good run there. And that's Malik Willis, right? That's the good stuff about him. Again, The issue with Malik Willis is not what you're going to be able to dig up on him and tape in Green Bay. All the stuff's good. The issue is that it's 4 games, right? Like there's 4 games of Malik Willis in Green Bay. They all look good. They're all very encouraging. It's just there's only 4 games. If he had put 15 together like that in the last year, I'd be sitting here like, yeah, give him 30, give him 40, fuck it. You know? But that's not where we are. He's only had 4 games. So the question to you is, do you feel comfortable giving somebody who had 2 games where it's like, hey, you saw a lot of what you want to see, but because it's only 2 games, you didn't see all of what you wanted to see. Are you comfortable giving that guy $20 million? Or does the prospect of that scare you enough to where you don't want to spend the money, especially when you're already paying off Deshaun Watson, right? So I think those are fair questions to ask. I think it's fair if the Browns want to go after Malik Willis. I think it's fair if they don't. Like, I can see it either way. This is a tough situation for Cleveland to be in. And one that I think people should appreciate. Like, again, Malik Willis doesn't have this hype behind him because the tape's like, okay. It's pretty damn good. It's just 2 games. What do you do with that? Right? It could be a situation where it's like, oh, well, you only saw Steve Young for 2 games in San Francisco. Do you just give everything to him or do you go back? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a small sample size. And I'm not comparing Malik Willis to Steve Young. I'm just saying, like, we don't know what he is, but the small sample of what we've seen has consistently been good. Consistently been good. It's just such a small sample. It is also worth noting that the stuff that he's good at isn't stuff that you could just write off as like, oh, well, it's Green Bay's system. Like the accuracy, the arm talent, the strength in his run game, the quick processing. I don't know if that's just, Green Bay's dressing him up and making him look good. I think this is legitimate improvement in quarterback play. Look at his feet. Look at his drops. Look at his throwing. Like it's legitimately good stuff here. So again, I think a lot of people are going to feel the need to dismiss it and be like, oh, it's just Green Bay putting special sauce on it. And not to say that he doesn't benefit from playing in a relatively stable organization like Green Bay. But a lot of the things he's good at, you can't explain by just being like Green Bay's a good organization. Especially the accuracy that he's demonstrating on these deep balls and in the processing that he's having on some of these intermediate throws where he's super quick. I mean, some of this was versus pressure. So it's a lot to think about. I don't really know what to do with. Let me know what you would want to do with that in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.